I will not follow your ways any longer. I choose my own path, not the one laid for
Tunde
me.
stepped forward before the gathering. His voice trembled but did not break. He spoke of love, of fairness, of the possibility that the past had been misunderstood. The elders murmured angrily. To question the chief was to question authority itself. The air thickened with tension. Amina watched from a distance, her hands clenched tightly. For the first time, fear mixed with her love. But somewhere deep inside, a strange hope flickered. Because sometimes, when anger rises this loudly, it shakes loose the truths buried beneath it. That night, inside the chief's house, a different kind of battle unfolded. Tunde's mother sat in darkness long after everyone slept. Her heart pounded with memories she had buried for years.
I am the one who stole the gold many years ago.
She remembered the day the gold went missing. She remembered panic. She remembered hiding something she thought she would confess later. But later never came. Guilt had lived quietly inside her all these years, growing heavier with each insult thrown at Amina's family. She had told herself it was too late to speak, too dangerous, too shameful. Yet watching her son risk everything for love made her realize that silence had already caused enough damage. Before dawn, she made a decision that would change the entire village. As the first rooster crowed, the chief's wife walked across the dusty road for the first time in years. Villagers peeked through their windows in shock. She entered Amina's compound without guards, without pride, without announcement. Her eyes were filled not with anger, but with regret. She confessed everything. The gold had not been stolen.
I must confess I wronged you. What is it?
She had misplaced it during preparations for a ceremony and later found it hidden among stored grains. Fear of embarrassment kept her silent. By the time she realized the accusation had stuck to another man, it felt impossible to undo. Amina's father did not shout. He did not curse. He simply closed his eyes as if a weight had finally been lifted from his chest. The dust road outside suddenly felt different. No longer a line of division, but a path waiting to be crossed properly. The chief listened to his wife's confession in stunned silence. His authority, built on certainty and judgment, trembled beneath him. He realized that in protecting his pride, he had destroyed another man's honor.
This cannot be. It's impossible. How could this happen? I must act now.
The realization was sharper than any insult he had ever received. That afternoon, he called for another gathering. The entire village assembled once more, expecting punishment or decree. Instead, they witnessed something rare. The chief stepped forward and knelt before the man he had wronged. Gasps rippled through the crowd. An apology followed, clear, loud, and unshaken. In that moment, the dust road lost its power. For the first time in years, the two families sat together. Food was shared, stories were exchanged, laughter once forbidden floated across the compound. The villagers watched carefully, unsure if this was real or a dream.
I've waited for this moment.
Me too, my love.
Tunde and Amina stood side by side, no longer hiding in shadows. Their love, once secret, now stood in daylight.
Amina.
The baobab tree no longer needed to guard their meetings. But forgiveness,
I've waited for this
though
moment.
powerful, needed
Me
time
too,
to
my love.
fully settle. And love, though victorious, still had one final test to face. Some elders resisted the union, arguing tradition could not bend so easily. They feared what change might bring. A final council was called to decide whether Tunde and Amina could marry without dishonoring customs. Tunde spoke not as a lover, but as a future leader. He spoke of justice, of truth, of how leadership must correct mistakes openly. His words carried strength beyond his years. Slowly, resistance softened. Tradition, after all, was meant to protect truth, not bury it. The wedding preparations began at the center of the road that once divided them. Colorful fabrics decorated both houses. Women sang, Drummers practiced until their hands ached. The entire village felt lighter, as though the air itself approved. Amina's father walked her proudly across the dust road. The chief stood waiting, not as an enemy, but as family. Tears were not hidden, smiles were not forced. When vows were spoken, they echoed beyond the village square. Years later, children would run across that same dusty road without knowing it once carried hatred. The houses remained standing, but the distance between them had vanished forever. The story of accusation transformed to a story of courage and truth. Tunde became chief one day, ruling with fairness shaped by his father's mistake. Amina stood beside him, not as a symbol of victory, but as a reminder that love grows strongest when tested by fire. And the dust road? It remained, not as a divider, but as proof that even the smallest distance can be crossed when truth and love walk hand in hand.